Hey there, creepy peeps, and welcome to another new movie review. Today, we're going to be talking about Annabelle Creation. Annabelle Creation is directed by David F. Sandberg. This is his second feature film, the first being Lights Out. He's pretty well known for his short films prior to Lights Out. Lights Out being one of the short films that got made into a full-length movie anyways. So Annabelle Creation is a prequel to Annabelle, and it basically covers where Annabelle came from. This is basically like her origin story, if you will. So we're taking even further back in time from Annabelle to a doll maker and his family, and in the opening we see him making dolls, we see his workshop, and we see him making the first Annabelle doll. The doll maker and his wife suffer a tragedy when their young daughter is killed in a car accident, and then some time passes and the doll maker and his wife open up their home to a group of orphans who are being taken care of by a nun by the name of Sister Charlotte. I don't remember that. Right, and one of the girls finds the Annabelle doll and unleashes the entity that's attached to it, and scary shit happens. So yeah, let's get right into what I liked. The film manages to encompass a lot of different themes and handles them really well, I think, without because sometimes I get worried when there's like too much going on in a movie that everything is going to be very just like thinly covered, and you know, I always leave wishing that they just would have cut out some parts and focused on one or two aspects of the movie. But this had a lot of different like themes and kind of ideas going around in the movie, and I feel like they cover it really well. There's the idea of isolation, which is popular in any horror movie. The doll maker's house is very isolated. It's out in the middle of like fucking nowhere. They show, in the opening scenes, they show the girls traveling to the house, and there's this long winding road through nothing to get to this doll maker's house. And then we get further into the theme of isolation with the character Janice, who is kind of our main character. There's something wrong with her leg, and she has a leg brace and uses crutches and can't move very well. And in the film, this gets worse, and then she becomes wheelchair bound. So she's isolated from the other orphan girls who basically don't want to slow down and wait for Janice. So she gets left behind a lot. She's left sitting and watching the other girls having fun and running around and exploring, and she's kind of left to her own devices. So that kind of plays into her discovering the Annabelle doll, and you know, her kind of being our main character, as she is always by herself for the most part. So there's that idea. We have the idea of loss and feeling alone in the world with the doll maker and his wife losing their young daughter, and kind of warming up to the girls that they've let into their house. All the girls are orphans, so you kind of get this idea of like them, even though they're together, they're alone in the world and just longing for a family and to have like a normal life, which is interesting as well. And all this plays in to like what happens to them in the movie really well, I think. And this is not really surprising given the director, and if you've seen his short films before, the scares were really well done. I feel like Sandberg is really good at misdirection and really getting you. There are jump scares within the movie, but it's not a jump scare fest. There is a good even mix of just straight like terror and not just jump scares. And there's a lot of things that just happen in the background kind of subtly, and if you're paying attention, you're gonna get the shit scared out of you without the loud noise, and you know, that's so common with a jump scare. So I really liked that. I always get worried with these like mainstream horror releases that most of the time they're a jump scare fest, but that was not the case here, so really surprised. The only thing I can say I didn't like about the movie was it was kind of predictable at parts, but I think that has more to do with the fact that this is a prequel and we've seen the Annabelle doll in 2 movies now. The doll plays a kind of minor part in The Conjuring, and then we have the prequel. So there are some parts like I kind of knew what to expect just because I've seen this doll in movies before, so I think that's mainly why it was kind of predictable. And I feel like the build to certain scares were really similar. Like, it's hard to explain without spoiling anything, and I don't want to spoil anything. How do I want to say this? There's a lot of build-up to like jump scares, you know how it usually happens, and then you kind of have like that rest period where nothing happens and it builds again. I feel like for a lot of parts the build was really similar, so by the end of the movie I was kind of tired of seeing the same like tension build over and over and over again. That's the only way I can describe it without spoiling anything, so I'm gonna leave it there. So sorry if that doesn't sound competent or good. That's the only way I can describe it without spoiling anything. I don't want to spoil anything. So why should you watch? I'm gonna go ahead and recommend that you do watch this, because while I didn't hate the first Annabelle as much as a lot of people did, I definitely liked Creation way more than I liked Annabelle. And I've been hearing from a lot of people who really disliked Annabelle that they found themselves really pleased with Annabelle Creation. So definitely if you hated Annabelle, I would go see Creation. I think you're going to enjoy it. Most people are. So that's really good. And of course, I don't know if this is happening everywhere now though. I'm hearing some people didn't get to see the exclusive scene from It, but you're supposed to see an exclusive scene from It during the trailers before Annabelle Creation. I was able to see it. I'm not going to say anything about it just in case some of you out there haven't seen it. I hear that parts of it are floating around the internet, but not the whole scene that they show. They show a scene from the movie. And all I will say about it, I'll say 2 things about it. 1, you get to hear Pennywise talk. 2, it made me even more hype for the movie. Like, I didn't think I could be more excited, and then they showed that scene and you get to hear Pennywise talk, and I'm so ready. Like, I'm basically trying to find a way to time travel to September 8th just so I can see this fucking movie already. So if anything, go see Annabelle Creation for the exclusive It preview at the beginning of the movie. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a rating of 3 creepy dolls out of 5. It was really okay. I was really okay with this movie. On IMDb right now, it has a 7.2 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes has a 68% rating, and now I can't remember if that was critic or audience, probably audience score. And then Roger Ebert gives it a 3 out of 4, which for Roger Ebert, I know that really doesn't mean anything to the horror community because he is not a horror fan typically, but that's pretty high rating for, you know, somebody who doesn't like horror. Well, for a site that doesn't like horror, I should say. Right, so if you've seen Annabelle Creation, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about it. And let me know if you were able to see the exclusive It scene in the trailers. Obviously, don't spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, but how hyped did that scene make you? Seriously. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, subscribe and become a creepy peep today. I have new videos Monday through Friday. That's right. You heard that right. Monday through Friday. Right. Until next time, stay strange.